Hello, darling. I have been wanting to leave you a message for a while, and you are second on the list. You're the second one I got to by May. I have been, just a little personal update. I have been resting on a level that I never have rested before. I think you and I shared this in that we travel and we think in big ways, and we carry a lot of responsibility about what's happening in the world. And there's the fire in our bellies, and in mine, I don't want to put it out, but it was very clear that it needed to calm itself for a while and become a flame. And my body and my mind and my heart was all screaming at me to do that, even though it's incredibly hard. And what I found in doing that is that it took me quite a while to actually lay vertically in my bed for a week. And there was a process to getting me into that posture, that position. And I feel sad and grieving for my body that it had to get to that point. Like so many entrepreneurs and people who work in the impact world like you, right? But one of my lessons that I learned is that being in this posture of lying in bed and not feeling guilty or worthless was such a practice and such a beautiful one. But once I could get there was all this creative energy and all this life that started coming from me, just pouring out, that I haven't felt in years, maybe ever. So I'm really grateful for breaking points, and I'm really laughing at my own life being, such a design process that is never, ever linear. And never goes as planned. And I'm glad that I can live pretty emergently right now, and lucky enough to, but it's scary. It's scary, Queen. That's for sure. I also noticed that when I was in this posture of laying down, it's probably the most feminist act I've ever made, because the system and things needed from me. I didn't do any of these things, and it turned out everything was okay, right? But all of these things that I was being asked to do, all of those things, my friend Aline is here, all of my things all of those things really were opposite of what my body needed. And they weren't honoring my well-being in any way, shape, or form, which is pretty crazy. It was holy shit, from relationships to tasks, to the cadence of a project, what the projects were asking of its people, let alone the vision and the time length for that. It just really made me realize that I had to say so many no's. Right? I've had to get real comfortable with no to get myself in the laying down position. It realize that the system is actually asking you to run at a pace that is really mechanical and inhuman. And I've always seen the challenges there. I've always seen the big issues about how deeply rooted this kind of white supremacy culture runs. And I think I posted something, and if you want to learn more about that, it's quite interesting, because when you look at the white supremacy culture, it's absolutely the INGO culture, and it's the undertone. And so I think understanding all this is making me kind of become more non-negotiable about how I'm going to engage in the world and taking that fucking break, So I hope you're starting to plan your fucking break. I hope you're starting to get really accountable to that, and because you matter. And someone told me recently, doesn't speak a lot of English, that when you put one marble in a matchbox, it will float. But if you put 5 marbles, it's always going to sink. And so the goal isn't to just balance one marble, because a lot of us, like you and I feel have the potential to create and have created a lot of change. And I just want to stop and celebrate you for all the change you've created. And I wish I could actually come and do a weekend of celebration with you. And maybe that's in our future, but also that it's really about creating a new container. It's not a matchbox I'm operating from anymore, that I can create maybe even a boat that can hold thousands. And the only way to do that right now is to rest and to recover from all the impact that we've done before, and to to rest and recover means to build that boat from a new energy and with new life and new creativity and these things that I found from just 1 week in bed. 1 week ensuring that I slept when I needed to sleep and ate when I needed to eat and asked for hugs when I needed hugs. And I'm down here alone. So that was like extremely hard. But I say all this to you because it brings me back to our coaching session. And it sounds like you had a really tough time landing in the cartoon. And again, with kind of seeing the world, parts of the world for what they are, which are really inhumane, and knowing what the rest of the world can do. And I think for just a moment, suspending that responsibility, or just a few months, or just 6 months. For me, it's been 6 months, and I cannot believe how fast it's gone. And I cannot believe how I matter, but like not that much, like we're all a drop, and we're also uniquely valuable. So how do I want to spend my drop? And stepping away for a while was really important. In fact, Khalid put up something yesterday that I had a very hard time watching, and I remembered, and it's important for us to watch these things, and it's important for us to know, and it's hard for me not to forward that and just like blast the world, like, what the fuck are we doing? People are in so much pain. But I noticed that suspending that for a little while was really, it was really important for my soul to restore so that I can re-engage in that. Yeah. So I'm sharing with you all this because I feel like it might be relevant for you, and I can feel like a yearning and a longing and a good coach asked me the other day, what's something that you are your heart's longing for? And I think it's women having the courage to rest, women having the courage to put it down for a while, to stop carrying the emotional and physical labor of what we do in the world, and regardless of color, place, statures. There's a real level of collective trauma happening. And so how do we grieve, process, let our bodies have what they need so that we can, and I think that is the work of being good ancestors. It is tied to the work of being good ancestors, of not coming from this like industrial, capitalistic, must change, must fix complex, where again, we're running at this mechanical pace. So I just wanted you to know that. And that I believe in you, and I love you, and you are enough you deserve it. You are enough. You've done enough. Like, it's okay to adjust the pace and not the purpose.